Hi, and welcome to another edition of the Cancer Chronicles, better known as Live from My Fortress of Solitude. Today I'm joined by Joe Bullock. Joe is actually the lead administrator for Man Up to Cancer, a cancer survivor himself as well, and an avid gamer. Hi, Joe, welcome to the show.
Hi, I'm doing well. Yes, we have a group, social media group, support group called the Howling Place, which within Man After Cancer. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's great to be here. It's great to finally connect. You know, we always kind of struggle with those time zones. You guys in the
Yes,
UK and
yeah, we do, yeah.
us in the
I know.
US. That's keeping track of those.
So,
I have
yeah,
we have some members in like Australia and South
yeah,
Africa, so it's hard to connect with people, yeah, with the time zones.
exactly. So, Joe, what's your sort of
Yeah.
earliest memory of gaming, would you say? I mean, where do you sort of, or did you take an interest in
Oh
it?
my gosh, when I was younger, I remember having the Commodore 64,
Uh-huh, yeah.
the Pong, the original Pong, which
Oh,
you would just
yeah,
kind of
yeah.
sit there and this is like way back. You're talking like 80s stuff, Right, right. And then as a teenager, you would go to the arcades. Like every Saturday night, we would
Yeah.
go to the arcade. We would play. A big one was a Dungeon and Dragons. They had actually the arcade version of it.
Is it
And
Gauntlet, is it?
do what?
Is it called Gauntlet, where you run around and you have like
It,
sort of
it might have
zombie?
been. I know it was I remember Dungeon and Dragons, and we
Mm-hmm.
would all like. There would be like six of us
Mm-hmm.
around, and we would take turns playing different levels and your different
That
characters. And
sounds very
I
much
was
like
I was
Gauntlet,
never
yeah.
really great. I was never really great at it. It was more of a social thing, but yeah, I remember doing those. I know during camp, I'm not a big gamer, but I know with my son and
Mm-hmm.
my daughter actually has dyslexia.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the earliest things, she's 21 now, but when she was like in elementary school,
Yeah.
her teacher at the time said it'd be really good for her to do gaming
Cool.
because it teaches, especially some of the ones like I think there was one called Cooking Mama and
Mm-hmm.
some of the ones where it had more of a storyline and they would have to read through the storyline to get to the
Yeah.
next level. And she said, they said that would really encourage her reading. So I think we had gotten her
Right.
like a DSI and she was using
Yeah.
that and was encouraged to use that.
So
So
going back to the arcades then, let me ask you a quick question. Space Invaders or Galaga?
Space Invaders, Pac-Man, they're all, yeah. We would spend hours in there. Exactly. We would spend hours in there. Yeah.
Yeah.
We would
So
spend hours in there.
so yeah, so obviously you're a colorectal cancer survivor, is that right? Is that correct? Am I right in saying that? Yeah?
Yes.
Right.
I was diagnosed with stage 3 colorectal
Mhm.
cancer back in May of 2018,
Right, yeah.
and they found during just a routine colonoscopy,
Hmm.
they found a tumor, and they removed the tumor, resected my
Hmm.
colon. I did 6 months of chemotherapy.
Hmm.
And in June of 2019, I got that NED, no evidence of disease, title. That and since then I've done really well. I've done follow-ups, and um, and they've all been great. All my scans have been clear.
Hmm.
So
How was your first reaction though when you got broken the news that you had cancer?
it was it was tough. I mean, I was actually sitting. I'd gone to do the colonoscopy and I woke up because they give you that twilight drug, and so
Hmm.
I was very sleepy and I had gone to sleep. And I was probably asleep for about 10 minutes or so, and I
Uh-huh.
woke up during the colonoscopy and I was looking at the screen, and the funny thing was the doctor said I was making these hand motions like I was on um, a keyboard,
Hmm.
and and then all of a sudden I realized, is that me? Is that what I'm looking at?
Hmm.
And he goes, "That's you." And I said, "It's because I had Googled enough to know what an image of a tumor looked like."
Hmm.
And I was like, "Is that a tumor?" And he was like, "Yes, it's a tumor." And the doctor had a really great uh, bedside manner, and he was like, just take a breath.
Hmm.
We're gonna get you cleaned up. We're gonna get you back in recovery. We're gonna talk about what's going on. And at that point, I knew I had cancer because I actually
Hmm.
saw it on the screen. um, and then he was really great. The doctor was really great. He already had a plan. Already had talked to a surgeon. Already had talked to found me an oncologist, so created my team, and we just went from there.
Yeah. Did you use any?
So I had a very
No, go on, sorry, Joe. Yeah.
no, go ahead. No,
No, it's all right. Yeah. Did you use any sort of methods of gaming at all to help you deal with sort of the mental
I
health?
did, like during
Side?
treatment.
Yeah.
I mean during treatment I did. I would use my phone, and I would play some of the games on my phone. I'm trying to think which ones I played. Candy Crush was a good one. A lot of those kind of mental games where you have to go through a level and go through a level and go through a level. That was very, very helpful to kind of pass the time.
Provided a great distraction, really. Then I guess.
Yeah.
So were you? So what would you say then if I was to say Nintendo or Sega? Which would you choose?
I grew up with Nintendo. I
Right.
did. So yeah, I had one of the original Ataris, so I kind of grew up with that.
The Atari 7800s. Yes, I remember.
Yes. I remember that. In fact, I remember getting my son one a few years ago because they came out with like a retro version. And I actually got him one that has some of the games loaded on it. So he's actually the more avid gamer in the family. It's so funny because like when he was 12 or 13, there was all these games he wanted to play that you had. There were the more mature games, and I wouldn't let him buy the mature games because he was too young. And so now he likes to go to GameStop and get the pre-owned games. And he's gone back and bought all those games that I told him. He's 17 now. He goes 16, and he's gone back and bought all these games I told him he couldn't play back
So
5 years ago.
I take it he's become a bit of an avid games collector then, has he?
He is. He has a PS2, PS3, PS4. He has in fact, 2 years ago, he asked me, Dad, can you get me a Game Boy? Is there a way you can get me a Game Boy? And I had to hunt around, and I finally found someone that had like the last edition of it that was brought out, and it was in really good condition. And they sent me, it was through eBay or something, and they sent me the game and a bunch of the console and a bunch of games. He enjoyed it. He got it for Christmas one year, so he really loved it.
Nice.
He still uses it.
So is he?
He has a DSi. He has a Switch. I mean, he has all. In fact, he's already asked me for the PS5, so I'm going to go start hunting for that. And one thing I love about the PS.
What about Xbox?
He's never been into Xbox. I've
never
offered
had
to get him an Xbox.
Xbox originally.
Never had a desire.
No, classic
He's
Halo.
never had a desire for an Xbox. We've gone to the mall, to the Microsoft store, and he'll play with the Xbox there because they do it in the open mall where you can kind of play with the game. Well, pre-COVID they did. They don't do it now, but but he would go in there and play with their Xbox, but he never really wanted me to get him an Xbox. Are you
going to be playing the PS5 with him? Do you think?
I play some. Like sometimes I'll go in some of the games. I've done like the farming game?
Oh yeah.
And Mario Kart, and I've done those. Some of those games. I don't get too much into like I think we recently went to GameStop. He got Ghost Hunter. Is it Ghost Hunter?
No, I've never heard of that one.
That one recently.
But must have been a US exclusive.
Ghost Hunter, and there's another one that we went and picked up recently that he just got. And so we're avid GameStop. I don't know if y'all have that in the UK, but
we got something like that. Yeah,
like that. So he's avid.
So let's get around to talking about Man Up to Cancer. How did you get involved with the organization originally?
Well, originally Trevor Maxwell and I met through. He reached out to me through Colon Town, which is a site just for colorectal cancer patients. He reached out to me back in December of 2019. He didn't post very much, and I didn't know him very well. But he had sent me a message saying, "Hey, can you just tell me your cancer story?" He did a lot of writing for Colon Town. He's a journalist. He's so he does a lot of writing for them. He said, "Can you tell your cancer story? I'd like to hear, about you." And I had a history with cancer in my mid-20s with testicular cancer.
Yeah.
My dad died from prostate cancer.
Right.
And then I myself was diagnosed with colon cancer. I was also diagnosed with skin cancer the same summer that I was diagnosed with colon cancer. So the idea, his idea was creating something that was for men, to support men going through any form of cancer, and as an emotional support group. We don't talk about politics, and we don't talk about cancer cures, and we really are more of an emotional support group. And so I had been over probably about a year or so after I got my NED in 2019, was talking to friend requesting men who were going through cancer, because I would be in these support groups, and you'd make one comment in the support groups, and you would get responses from like 40 women and maybe 2 men. It was just how these groups are sometimes. And there's nothing wrong with women wanting to support us, but sometimes you want to hear another man what he's going through. So I basically started friend requesting these men, and over about a year, I probably had about 200 men on my friends list that were going through cancer. And so when Trevor said, he called me December 31st after talking for a couple of weeks, he said, hey, January 1st, I want to greenlight this group, the support group called The Howling Place. He'd already created a structure for a web page called Man Up to Cancer, talked about doing a podcast and some different things. And so we started the group January 1st of 2020. And within a month, I think we had about 300 men join.
That's amazing.
And then from then it has grown steadily. So yeah. And like I said, we're at about 800 men. We're about 800 men who are posting, sharing about their journeys. We also do an ABC day, which is called an Anything But Cancer Day. And we do it once a month. And it's not that they can't share about their cancer, but it's just an opportunity to share more about their life, because I think we're more about a lifestyle group, about living through cancer, and not necessarily focus so much on treatment and cure and things like that. This is different. It's a different, and I think the guys really appreciate it. I think the guys really appreciate that aspect of it.
I suppose that is, I mean, the problem is, you know, and I know, living with cancer, unfortunately, it does happen. It takes over your life, and it becomes a central focus of your life, and it's the only thing you know how to talk about, because it's like cancer this, cancer that, cancer this, and it's just I do know what you mean. I think you know, we hear a lot, also unfortunately a lot of negative stories about cancer, and I think for people that's just going into this, I think sometimes they want to see stories of survival and success, and not necessarily, unfortunately, you know, and I know the horrible truth of where some cancers do lead us to. And it definitely, unfortunately, the negatives always seem to outweigh the positives of living with cancer. I mean, I know myself, I'll admit I'm a much better person now with cancer than I was when I didn't have cancer, which is really weird. Not that I was a bad person to begin with, but it's made me more determined in life. And I think, if I'm sure you'll agree with me, Joe, is that cancer changes your focus on life, doesn't it? I mean, how's your focus?
It does.
How's your priorities changed in your life, would you say?
I'm definitely more of an open person. I think cancer has sent me in a direction to be an advocate, I didn't tend to be, before cancer, not closed off, but I was kind of living my life. You know, I was, I was actually a stay-at-home dad. Right. I was just kind of dealing with my life.
You blinkered to it. You know about it, but you don't think about it.
Right. And so I think cancer really changed that very quickly. I actually went through therapy for about 3 months, and continued ongoing therapy, because I just didn't, it was hard, you know, when you're first diagnosed with cancer, for me, I was very robotic. Like I did everything that I was supposed to do.
It's the trauma that kicks in.
As a cancer patient. Right. And then about 2 or 3 months into it, all of a sudden I realized the emotions started kicking in, and I started feeling the sadness and the pain as you get through chemo and cancer. Just the emotional pain alone, not the physical, but the emotional pain.
The anger of it as well.
And the anger. And slowly realized I needed help. And my wife actually pushed me in that direction, because she was my caregiver, my care partner. And she would, one thing she said, we were at the cancer center one day, and we sat down with a therapist, and I thought we were fine. I thought, you know, we're fine. I'm dealing with my diagnosis. I'm dealing with treatment, whatever. And she actually said that she needed me to go talk with her. Like, I need you to take him. He needs to talk to you, because she's an RN. So the clinical side of cancer,
you mentioned
she's a registered nurse. So the clinical side of cancer, she could handle. The emotional side, because she was used to coming home, you know, and just kind of leaving stuff off to the side. And she couldn't do that anymore she couldn't do that anymore. With
No.
me being now being a cancer patient. So, and she was there for me all through it, but she really needed me to kind of talk through with someone else.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, do you feel that sometimes the mental health side gets overshadowed by the cancer, and we forget to address about the mental health issues that do come with it?
I definitely think so. I really think so. After going through it, I really wish they would, when you go to see an oncologist, they would almost just go ahead and introduce you to a therapist. It was like
Prepare you
from
for
the
it, yeah.
oncologist's office straight to a therapist. I mean, and some men, and yet not everyone needs that. But I think it's definitely a crucial thing.
I think it's a very big
That
part of it.
all
I
keeps
mean, and
a
it is
part of it.
it is trauma, and obviously, that day you told you've got the big C, that creates the
Mm-hmm.
PTSD as well, because you are fortunately, and I mean, I myself, I'm still haunted now of the memories from being in hospital and being very, very sick to the point of dying. So
Yeah.
I understand that, I think a lot of it can depend on the severity of the cancer. But I would say more serious cancers
Exactly.
like colorectal cancer, blood cancers, some of the breast cancers, some of the more serious ones that can lead to further complications down the line do invoke a lot of mental health issues. And the fact is that you've got to wake up every day in the morning and you go, I'm okay today, I'm going to get on with my day, because you know that the next day, all that can change again in a heartbeat. And I think that's the struggle.
Right.
And the fight that we continually have with cancer, it's that everyday fight with it. We don't fight as hard as we did when we had the cancer, but it's always there in the back of our heads.
Right.
I mean, do you think that's sort of the impression that we get from the cancer communities nowadays?
I think so, and I think that's something Man Up to Cancer is trying to change. I think when you hear the term "man up," you tend to think, "Well, I need to be tough, or I need to be like vigilant, or I need to be, I can't allow pain in, or I can't feel those emotions."
Mm-hmm.
And I think we're trying to change the tone in that. That you can be a man going through cancer. You
Mm-hmm.
can have an open heart. You can fight your cancer, but you can also live a great life while doing that.
Yeah, I think it's a
You know,
case
you
of
you can,
it's okay not to be okay. In other words, that
right. It's
moment.
okay not to be okay,
Yeah,
but you can also feel joy. You can enjoy the
yeah,
life with your family. I mean, there's things that men do tend to self isolate.
yeah.
We do tend to draw into ourselves, and
Mm-hmm.
and that really does affect your outcome. I think the mental really does affect your outcome. Um,
I definitely agree. Now,
you
you
know.
correct me if I'm wrong. Is it true that it's the Man Up to Cancer, the Wolf Pack? Is that a relation to the Hangover film?
Oh, it's funny. Yeah, that was one of the earlier posts Trevor did. It was. I think I was the kind of the short guy. I related to that guy because I'm kind of at that same height, and so it's kind of yeah. It definitely was. It was definitely one of the earlier posts,
So
and
we've
we do
had,
see ourselves as a wolf pack.
yeah. So you've had no members then safely driving down the motorway yet with a giraffe in the back or anything like that. I mean, that hasn't happened yet.
Yeah, you're right, exactly. Although we are planning some meetups, so we've talked about some trips. So
You should do a trip. You
definitely,
should do a trip to Vegas and do it as a
we're we're
and do it as a
we're,
spoof spin-off of the Wolfpack
uh,
from The Hangover.
we're definitely considering in 2021 with a couple of groups that we want to do that with. So
That would be fun. I mean, it's a
I
shame
think
you
it would
can't.
be.
It's a shame you can't actually get one of the actors to actually become one of your patrons.
Oh,
I
I
just think.
know, I
I
know.
just
You
think
never know
that'd be
what will
so.
happen. Yeah,
I just think
you
that'd be
never
so
know.
brilliant. I mean, especially having something like Bradley Cooper or Zach
Yeah,
Galifianakis, to
yeah,
be one of your. I'm sorry, but you know what I
yeah.
mean. It'd just be the perfect. You know what I mean?
Right. Exactly. Very true. Very true.
So the future for Man Up to Cancer. Then what's the future for you guys now? Then.
I think we're just working on. We really do kind of grow organically. We let guys
Mm,
just come into the group when they feel like they want to post. I mean, we have
mm.
about 800 men in the group, but probably only about
Wow.
100 regularly
Mhm.
post, which is okay. I think they still benefit from it. I think even if they never post
Yeah.
anything, I
Yeah.
think just seeing the post and hearing the responses.
Mm.
I do a birthday, a weekly, a daily birthday post with some
Yeah,
of the
I've seen
guys, and
it.
they
Yeah.
seem to enjoy. They seem to enjoy that, and sometimes they respond, maybe when they don't actually post, which is really cool to see. And I think we're just continuing to grow. We're continuing to, the web page wants to do we want to do some things with the web page, and Trevor's working on that end of it too. And one of our early sponsorships next year is going to be actually a brewery in Maine is doing a beer called it's called Howling Together. It's through Baxter Brewery in Maine.
That's fantastic.
Unfortunately, it'll only be sold in Maine, but it's supposed to come out sometime in January, like late January. I think it's going to come out.
But you can sold in the grocery store. Well, the guys that can't have it in the UK, I'm sure you can make up the remainder of those bottles not being.
Right, exactly.
Listen, Joe,
definitely.
It's been great having you on the show. All the best for the future with Man Up
Thank you.
Cancer. And
thank you. You too. And the same with Gamers Beat Cancer. I really love what you're doing. I definitely see the need for it, so it's great.
Have you got an earthquake there, Joe? Before we go.
No, I think I don't know what's going on, but my son next door.
Okay then, Joe. No problem. Thanks very much for your time.